AI and the future of human connection, how AI is shaping the next generation of customer engagement experience. Welcome to Breaking Down Barriers, where we hear from the builders and the makers in the MENA region. Today we have Karim Zaki, the current CPTO of Uniphonic. The reasons why you want to tune into this episode: if you're a tech leader, product innovator, or a digital transformation strategist, this episode is your seat to the future of customer engagement. We're going to discuss the latest trends defining how brands connect with customers, the real impact of AI on communication and hopefully beyond the hype, the lessons from frontliners on scaling intelligent engagement platforms, leading and upskilling tech teams in the new era of generative AI, and then what the next decade of customer experience looks like and how to build for it today. So do you want to just give us a very quick intro then on who you are and obviously who Uniphonic are?
Sure. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here today with you, Ricky. So who am I? I'm a software engineer at heart. I love tech and how it could be used to help businesses overcome challenges and solve their problems. I've been in the industry for more than 20 years, served in different markets, covering Egypt, US, Saudi, and UAE. I've been part on co-founding 2 startups before joining Uniphonic. Now I serve at Uniphonic as Chief Products and Technology Officer. So what do we do at Uniphonic? Well, we started as a CPaaS player. So basically what we do is that we connect businesses with their end users and consumers. Not only that, but we help them drive the most efficient and impactful engagement with their consumers.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So I listened to a recent video a few months ago. It was from the CEO of Twilio, and he spoke about the time to supercharge our innovation cycle. He highlighted the 158 billion market opportunity in customer experience, which is huge, as a service, and reports significant profit growth for them as well. I think nearly 700 million in profits and returning to double-digit growth. I don't know if you heard that, but listen to that video. And then he went on to say, they're going to accelerate innovation by integrating communications with data and AI. They're targeting all of these enhanced product releases as well in 2025. Talked about focused bets in AI, contextual data, AI to enhance consumer experience for all of these personalized digital interactions, and how they're going to start to leverage data assets from Segment AI to deliver all of these highly customized experience for better communications capabilities. So I thought that was a nice segue and interesting video.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the industry went through different phases, right? So it started by consolidating different domains in the same industry, whether it's CPaaS, UCaaS, customer data platforms, analytics players, and even in some cases CRM and ads managers. But now we're seeing even more potential, to supercharge the whole industry. And that's, of course, with the hype of AI. There is a lot of things that you can easily achieve now while using AI that was not possible a couple of years ago. So I think it's interesting times, and the coming couple of years we'll see a lot of innovation happening in this space.
And what major shifts are you seeing then in customer engagement, and then how AI is actually going to accelerate those changes as well?
Different things. I think we're moving. One big transformation point is you're moving from just looking at segments, which is something that was built that way because humans and marketeers, business people can track and start working on reaching and promoting for these segments into more personalized individual experience, right? And this could never be done without leveraging the power of AI. So that's one of the things. The other thing is, like, the industry by nature is industry that where you consume not only millions but billions of transactions on a monthly basis, which is again for you to track such engagements with your consumers is nearly impossible. So AI can definitely add into that. So these are 2 transformational aspects, and adding to that the analytics and the insights that you could pull out these transactions, and seeing it in a multi-view format would help you definitely think the whole marketing strategy and communication and engaging with your end consumers.
And how do you actually define then the next generation customer engagement? What does that look like in 5 years?
Next, I would say that AI would perfect communicating the right content to over the right channels at the right time and within the right context for users. And what I mean by that is that it would be something like an AI first, yet human anchored, but you would not see the notion of press 1 for this service and press 2 for that service, but it would be more human like, and that would come in hand with the hype that we've seen for agentic AI. Now, it could be considered that it's in experimentation phase, right? But analysts forecast that in 2027, which is pretty soon, it would be core in all the business workflows. So that's another thing. And the third aspect would be about insights and analytics at large, right? As we just mentioned, the data and the correlation between the data that could be pulled out of millions and billions of transactions and interactions with the end users is something that human can't figure out. So you would see different relations that couldn't have been captured before.
And is there some particular things like you talked about there, moving beyond the hype, like right here, right today, like the actual tangible impact on customer engagement here and now?
Yeah. Look, I think we're, as a tech companies, we're business enablers, right? So it all still starts with the brand, understanding very well their customers' expectations, and then driving a value-driven type of initiative that would meet these customer expectations. But working with different customer segments, we've seen a lot of areas where you can see tangible impact, starting with healthcare, for example. Okay, most of the sales activities and complaints, especially the invalid ones, could be handled by at least 60% of this type of activities could be handled. And moving to high volume sectors like governments and utilities, all service management, bill inquiries, and FAQs could definitely be handled by AI. E-commerce, I think it was proven, one of the pioneers that's proven that for lead generation and individual or personalized recommendations, it yielded in a great value. And even on healthcare, you can boost the patient experience by doing at least, I mean, because there's a lot of regulation in that area, but you can do primarily medical guidance and also the booking part. You can see a great change in how would you handle these sort of activities.
I mean, definitely on the booking part, we were actually on site with a company in the UK called Dr. Doctor that was doing that before all the hype of generative AI and how they create a better seamless experience for their patients. So now they get 10x.
Exactly. And if you zoom in on each of these verticals, you would see that they've always had aspirations, and dreams to do certain things and to deliver certain experience for the consumer. But I think now with the AI capabilities, this is becoming more and more visible every day, right? Because it's moving very fast.
And obviously, if we move to sort of Uniphonic, then how are you starting to integrate AI into your product stack to deliver these better outcomes for your customers as well?
Yeah. So at Uniphonic, we focus in two main domain, or if you would say horizontal use cases on the customer care and marketing automation. And we continuously complement these two areas with a lot of different models, because we want to cover all the different touch point through the customer journey. If you look at our platform, we use a lot of generative AI to trying to provide a superior experience for our users. And we have a lot of investment on Arabic domain-specific agentic AI, tuning different models to suit the region demands. And across all our channels, we heavily use intent detection. Along with that, we do have another stream that is focused on user analytics built on top of our customer data platform. So I would say we're using AI heavily, especially in the past period. Yeah.
And did you have to create more of an environment around experimentation, or was that already a part of like your environment and DNA and culture prior to the rise of generative AI?
I would say it's usually experimentation is part of software engineering industry at large, but you would need to be more open to keep pushing on innovation and experimenting new models and new technologies that's been released. Because seriously, I mean, like it used to be recently every month you hear something new. Now every other week you can wake up and you find something new that has been released. So I think it's a marathon, and we're just getting started. So yeah.
Yeah. And what role does data play then in powering this personalized, scalable communication?
Yeah. So data is at the heart of that. I mean, like there's no single AI model that would work without having a comprehensive data as an input. And when we speak about data here, we're not just talking about demographic type of data, right? Because there's so little that you can do with such a small amount of data. But we're looking at more multidimensional type of data, right? Anything that could help. Things like previous complaints, previous interest that the user showed. Not only that, history of purchases. Anything that you can feed for an AI model would help a lot in that model learning, reasoning, and adapting to whatever the consumer is looking for.
And obviously, there's a lot of optimism around the long-term growth. But do you genuinely believe in the importance of balancing profitability and effective monetization strategy? Because that's been a conversation and topic for a while, in the sense of, especially from more on the product side as well, and how a business actually makes money and not purely just indexing in on the customer side as well, which is like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like that's always a struggle, because software companies by nature, it's a place where engineers comes and they would want to innovate, but you want to make sure that this innovation is translated into business impact and having a healthy kind of financial aspect for the companies as well. So I would say you need to truly focus on business impact, right? Not just a fancy type of use cases that you deliver for the users, and that's what keep them, using these kind of services. So working very closely with the customers is the key. But I think this is said by everyone else. But I'll just give you an example. For example, a practice that is widely adopted outside the region is having a customer advisory board. Okay, there is very few companies in the region adopting such approach, but for us, we've been doing that for the past 2 years, and it showed great results. Okay, so that's one. Also, on at a certain maturity stage for the product, you should make sure that every feature that you release is directly linked to business outcome, and if that is not happening, you should doubt whatever you're releasing. But with all honesty, even the nature of AI enabled that notion to happen. Because, for example, previously when we were focusing on the CPaaS and the SaaS services, you had to build some sort of a product, even if it's an MVP, so you can take it to the market and try to validate with the users. But now with AI, you co-create with the customers in pilot labs, especially highly regulated and high volume type of sectors. But you build that with the customers because you require a lot of data, and then you go back and try to productize whatever models that you created. So I think it's coming hand in hand with the AI hype as well.
And obviously, as an executive, did you find it harder or more challenging than ever to wake up one day and all of this stuff just happening, and how it impacts your role, or is it reverse? Does it excite you, all of this new learning and transition? It's hard, right?
It's very hard to keep up, but I think it's very exciting. So for tech people, it's very exciting because that's our, I would say that's our normal. That's always been happening, but maybe it was very tech-oriented topics, so it was not observed by the people outside of the industry. But because now the AI hype touched everybody, so you can see that there's a lot of change. But it happened before at the era of having mobile apps, and with the era of the internet and a lot of other things. Yeah,
the mobile boom is when I came into the industry.
Exactly. But between these booms, we have kind of a smaller booms inside the tech industry.
Yeah.
But maybe we're the ones that feel it. But we kind of got used to the change, right?
Yeah. And nice segue into then. How are you leading your technology teams through this AI transformation then? How
Yeah.
are you helping, supporting them, getting it right, getting it wrong?
Yeah, good one. So I would say there is the knowns and there is the unknowns. Okay, so for the knowns is basically the areas where AI has proven that they can yield great values, right? Test automation, unit tests, like troubleshooting, code reviews, these kind of things. For these knowns, you need to set clear targets and goals for the team, so you can measure if you're progressing towards that adoption or not. Because you don't want to pass the train, right? So because agility is the name of the game. Like we're just getting started. It's a long way, so we need to be at the forefront. And there's the unknowns, which you need to foster a culture of innovation. You need continuous experimentation because you don't know how much it would be impactful. So you need that in place. And you would also
Just want to make it clear that you are
Absolutely.
here in person right now because you used the word foster.
Ah.
Which is definitely an AI buzzword. So I want to
Good.
make it clear that you're here in person. It's me and you. This is
Yeah,
not AI
exactly.
generated. Sorry,
Good
carry on.
one. Yeah.
Sorry, I might have thrown you off.
Yeah. So and I would say the other thing is like when you have a large team, okay, you need to maintain certain practice, right? So we come up with committees as we do for other practices, but now we have a committee that we call it the AI and automation committee, because some of the teams or the squads will progress faster than the others, right? And you want to make sure that the others don't miss a lot. So these committees try to push or share these practices that did work with other teams. And of course, you would always need to inject new talents. They come up with their own experiences that they formed from before, so it's very healthy. That's one thing. But I would say like it's not only about the engineering and products team. We also have a lot of work that we do with other cross teams. For example, our operations team, basically the teams that handle our production product and production environment, we empower them with a lot of AI models that we built in-house. Things like fraud prevention, spike detection, even churn prediction, and content validation. We work very closely with our compliance team just to be ready, because we know that most probably there's regulatory making something for AI. And I guess soon we are planning to add a certain AI knowledge that anybody that would be hired or joining the team should have, not only the tech people, but everybody in the organization. It's kind of becoming the new normal, right?
Yeah, no, of course. And then are there specific skills then and mindsets or roles that are most important for these teams to obviously thrive in this new era? And have you also changed the way that you might now assess a software engineer or a product manager in joining the business? And what is that? What does that look like? What advice would you give there? I don't know if you listened to obviously the Stephen podcast, but it was a highlighted one because it was the death of engineering and spoke about that tier of junior software engineers being wiped out. So
Yeah. There's a lot of talks on that space. I would say again, the agility is the name of the game. That's the mindset that needs to be there. People should be engineers should be very open that whatever they are using today, they may not be using in the coming 3-4 months, right? Because it's moving really fast. In terms of the team formation, I would say to get started, you would need ML engineers, back-end engineers, kind of a validator or QA in place. Of course, DevOps to enable that for the rest of the team, and preferably a domain expert, a product manager. So that's the basic, or to get started. But recently, we've heard a lot of buzzwords and a lot of roles that came to the scene that didn't even exist 2 years back. Starting with the prompt engineer. Basically, he's the person that is responsible on how the AI model would respond to the end user, like the answer, how he would answer, the length, the format, the tone of the answer. Also, the domain expert, somebody, because if you think about it, like AI is trying to mimic human behaviors, right, to help them with their day-to-day activities. So you would need a domain expert in whatever domain that you're planning to automate with AI to tell you how accurate it is and to train that AI model. You have the AI compliance strategist or specialist. It's no secret that with AI, it came with a lot of concerns about data privacy and cybersecurity risks and so on. So he's the person that is looking after that space. Model validator is another role that came to the scene, and he's the person that understands the limitations, the assumptions, weaknesses, and strengths of the model. And another role would be AI, kind of a designer, who work on the prototyping and making sure that whatever this model is generating, it would come in a way that the user could consume it in the easiest fashion. But again, I wouldn't say that you need all these roles to get started, right? And whatever would work by the time you're kicking off the work is not what would fit what would fit the structure when you're scaling the teams. So yeah, it's stages.
Because I was surprised we got the survey that's coming out. We did a survey across over 500 C-suite executives globally. You completed that survey. Yeah. One of the things that came out of it, which I was surprised about, but maybe I'm wrong, was like 78% of all focused on upskilling versus new hires. During if we talk about the mobile boom, it was all about bringing in all of these new native mobile developers, new skills into the company. Were you surprised by that? And maybe what 3 things have you done very well to actually upskill your current team? I know you talked about obviously the AI committee and stuff, but actually 3 things that you've maybe put in place? Because it's not easy, right?
Yeah, it's not easy, but I think you would need to do so because there's kind of a misunderstanding about how you build AI products and services. If we just spoke now about how would a team or squad formation be, it has different skill sets and a lot of skill sets that already been there. Maybe they need to upskill however they were doing their daily activities, but they would still be there. Maybe it's a game of efficiency that if you didn't catch up with it, other competition would have more of 50 to 60% productivity and efficiency, right? So you need to upskill the skill set of the teams. How we did it away from the committee, we actually a year back, when we started seeing the hype happening, we divided the team into different groups, right? Different seniors groups, and we used different models and different tools that enable co-developing with an AI, right? Because you can hear a lot, everybody would tell you that their platform or product is the best, but you need to see in action how it works. And then we started taking benchmarks on which ones are yielding in a better value. So that's one thing. And then you always doubt, being doubtful is very important. So you always doubt if you're missing something. So we considered, as I said, injecting new talents coming from different regions, different backgrounds, to see how would they approach that hype as well, to make sure that we would be prepared for what's coming. And then collaboratively you start having a baseline. We always try to engage in communities as well to understand, like I'm part of different I would say communities as well in the tech space, and you often ask, how are you doing this, where are you with that? And it's more only people share a lot on terms of practice. You wouldn't share all the details about your product roadmap, but that's not the center of the discussion. Is more on how do you approach the development of these kind of things. What are the best practices and how can you do them in a more efficient way?
Yeah, makes sense. That's the biggest topic in our community that's always coming up. Hence why we've got the...
And I think one more thing. I think a lot of business people believe that there would, in a year you wouldn't find any engineers. I think we're a bit far from that. It's more about how can you enable them to be more efficient in what they do, like any other job, right? So when we say we will have an support agent, it's the same thing. You would have another agent that would help the engineer in troubleshooting, in code reviews, and similar activities as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think I said it in the other podcast, but someone I spoke to that's huge background in machine learning and data and AI for a while, and he talked about having 5 screens basically in the future.
Yes.
So doing 5 jobs. You get
they have 2 or 3 already now.
10x in return.
So already now 2 or 3. Yeah.
What advice would you give to product leader then navigating the AI hype cycle?
Yeah, I would say don't chase use cases, chase more the impact. Because if you look around in everything that we do, there could be a use case. It doesn't mean that it would be widely adopted or impactful. So you need to chase impact, not just use cases when it comes to AI. I would say also looking at taking this view back to whatever you're building, making sure that you build very closely with the customers. That what would help you do these kind of experiments, because it's all about shipping fast, continuous experimentation. So you need to ship fast, measure fast, fail fast even, and reiterate all of that, right? And there is the third one, which is very important, is you need to work on the user trust, not just the wow factor, right? Because the wow factor will not last for long. And there's a lot of vendors that go and give like very high promises that they don't have any ideas actually on how to implement or to make them real for the customers. You could show them few demos that would bring some sort of a wow factor, but you should think about longevity and what would you do at scale as well, right? Yeah. So these would be my advices. Yeah.
Like moving to engineering culture and leadership, how would you coach a first-time engineering or engineering managers, stick on engineering, to really think about the product and not just delivery as well?
Yeah. We actually, I mean, like, we don't worry for engineering managers, as you said, it's a good one, spot on. We don't worry much about his tech skill set because, I mean, like, he's been working on the tech side all his life. But we focus on how can we engage him in other areas or other activities that would make it easier for him to understand the type of challenges that the customer is seeing. So, as I said, like on the customer advisory part, we try to engage some of the engineering leaders. Even we encourage them to be on some of the sales calls, especially with the pre-sales. That we often share with them on some sort of a summary of the support tickets that we receive. That's another thing that you can do, so they can feel whatever is happening on the other side. So all these are very nice practices that would help bridge that gap.
Yeah. Still a bit of an old topic, but still current, relevant, and interesting story. I think you've got as well is like post-pandemic remote versus on-site, and what hybrid model actually works then for a Saudi headquarters with global dev.
Yeah. Everybody's talking about these days about getting back to the office.
Yeah.
I think we, as well as other companies, we really adopted the hybrid and the remote approach during the pandemic, and it worked fantastic, right? It's easier for everyone, but sometimes you miss the relation and the link with other colleagues that you work with. We have different teams in different parts of the world who have different data centers, development centers, and I think that would always remain. The way we approach it is that we set certain ratios. We have ratios for people that operate from the office physically, and the amount of people that we can hire remote, because you want to balance between finding and retaining the talent and maintaining a certain culture. It's very hard and it's doubtful to make a company-wide culture and everybody's remote, right? It's hard to achieve that, to be realistic. But at the same time, you need to offer some sort of flexibilities, So we have what we call the work from abroad, right? You can have like 5-6 weeks where you can work from anywhere in the world. And we have percentages where we hire remote people. So we try to maintain that. Not only that, even on diversity, we have ratios, because if you don't have that in place, you would be surprised by the end of the year on how it looks like. So we're trying to balance with that. But honestly, we're now in an ocean where at least we're pushing all the customer-facing roles to be in Saudi, because that's one of our edge and moats there, to be close to our customers.
And what's your secret sauce then? Have you identified a current region or place that works the best for the Middle East in terms of identifying the top talent? There's obviously the usual ones. Do you have any secret sauces?
Well, I think diversity is one of the amazing things that we have in the region. Our team is more than 40 nationalities, and that's thrilling, right?
It's a crazy stat.
And it's true, right?
Yeah. I just had Facundo from Zidon who said a similar thing, and it was mind blowing.
Yeah. So it's amazing. It's one of the things and the learnings that I personally had since I joined Uniphonics. So more than 40 nationalities, and we love having that. I would say in terms of skill sets, it's very hard nowadays to focus on only one location for having a development center. We have 4 or 5, which I think a lot, but having 2 or 3 will give you a good balance to have accessibility. I wouldn't give a single market or location the win on having all the different types of skill sets. Like for example, in some of the regions, we have we can find very talented front-end engineers, others back-end engineers, and there's some roles that are really already very limited in the market. Like coming to think about data engineering is always been challenge to find people. ML engineers, they were available, but now it's the hype. Of course, you can find less and less. So it depends. You need to have access to different markets, and I think you need to have some sort of diversity in your team. You'll be surprised how much you learn about things. People do things differently, and to find the right mix, that would help you a lot.
Yeah, I agree. So Uniphonic sells to both SMEs and governments. So how do you segment that roadmap versus sales motion as well?
Yeah. Very challenging. I mean, like serving SMEs and enterprise, it's something that we often discuss. And I'll give you a few examples because, for example, for an SME, they would love having a self-serve in the platform, while enterprises would lean more towards having customer success that do things on their behalf. Yes, there's commonality, but at the end of the day, one of them would take the priority. So the way we position it is that we're enterprise first. Right, so we love our SMEs, but we're enterprise first. And the way we think about it is that if we have a platform to handle the needs of an enterprise, it will be easier to cover. I'm not saying that it's very easy, but it will be a bit easier to cover for the SMEs part. And then would come the challenge of how would you segregate these type of customers when it comes to the support, right? Because they need different type of touch points with your company, but again, we try to. I want to be honest. In most of the cases, we give the higher priority for the feedback coming from enterprises. But even in our customer advisory board, we have a mix because we want, as long as these are segments that we serve, we want to make sure that we give them some sort of attention.
And your Leap 2025 demo showed the abandoned cart recovery via WhatsApp.
Yep.
How do you validate ROI and brand new use cases then before a GA launch?
Yeah, I think that comes with the rise of chat apps in general, right? This is one of the very famous, impactful use cases, and it's amazing how I mean, like you can launch 4 or 5 use cases and only one of them bring the highest impact, and it shows like that. Engagement and communication with the customer is not just about delivering a message, right? And that was part of the reason why it pushed our transformation. It's about providing an end-to-end business value for the customer, right? So all these we call events need to be tracked in a way where you could at the end follow up with that customer seamlessly, or crunch that into a summary or direction that you would give for the marketeer or the sales agent to follow up on these consumers. But yeah, it was one of the very exciting use cases. Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. And moving on to the Uniphonic transformation journey then, and the evolution of Uniphonic to what it is today. Can you talk to me about that?
Absolutely. So a bit of a brief about Uniphonic. We started at 2006. We raised a bit more than 140 million, and we handle more than 1 billion interaction between businesses and consumer on a monthly basis. So we handle pretty big volume. And when we were first founded, we were founded as a CPaaS player, which is a communication platform as a service. So basically what we do is that we are kind of an AI-based connectivity provider. And the challenge that we were fixing by that time is that imagine if you're just any business and you would need to send one SMS, you would need to have somebody with the knowledge in telecom, okay, which does not make perfect sense, right? So that was the first thing. And the other challenge was related to scalability. If you need to send a campaign for, I would say, 1 million consumer, you would need to build the infrastructure that would help you cover for your peak, even if you would use it once a month. So that's where all the notion of the CPaaS players came in place. And then with the rise of conversational channels like WhatsApp, the need for the channels became like more engaging, and it's two-way. Just like the SMS was the product before, where you deliver the message and that's it. It's more about notification, not about two-way communication. But with the rise of chat apps, the need for more engaging tooling came into place. So basically, we need a terminal for agents to like communicate and chat with their with the end consumer, and that's where we came up with something like an agent console we can use to track. And then just being available on social media or chat app, it raised the expectation of consumers. It raised the expectation of me and you, because you feel that you can reach at any moment and ask me something. But what if this is after working hour? What would you do? So you need to automate that. So the need for a chatbot and automation came in place. And then the expectation was raised more, is like, if we can automate that part, why don't we automate the full customer journey? And this is where the Flow Studio workflow type of tooling came in place, and so on and so forth. And of course, there is always demand on mass communication type of tools, and this is where the marketing campaign piece comes into our play. And then once we had that, and that was like, we had a transformational 3 years basically. So once we had that steady, the AI hype came in with a lot of promises, which is even raised the expectation more. So I don't want to reach for the chatbot and ask him, what can you do for me? I want to ask him whatever I want, and he comes back with that, And then moving from just segments where I can label these segments with a certain preferences to, no, that is not enough. I want to reach to each individual and personalize the communication for him. So I would say that personalization at scale and automation as well. So it was pretty massive transformational journey. But it wasn't only about the tech and the products, because the nature of each of these, if you would like to say, layers of capabilities require different teams to orchestrate. Like, you wouldn't need a professional services or conversation building people for just sending communication APIs, but that comes in with the AI integrations, heavy integrations, and professional services that we enable that for the customers came with like the need of these tools for the software part of the business. So it was a notion that I would say even the support teams, the sales team was very challenging for us. We worked a lot as a team to even transform our sales team, because the people selling transactional business are different mindset than the people selling software. Not only that, but we became very demanding. Now we want them to pitch AI models, right? So we need to do a lot of enablement and work closely with different cross teams across the organization to make that feasible, right?
And obviously, Unifront operates in emerging markets. So there's got to be unique challenges and opportunities that you see there, and how you then shape your technology roadmap for that. Yeah,
absolutely. So the ongoing challenge that we have is always balancing between innovation and regulatory. So whenever we go and attend like events in the US or in Europe, we're very excited about technologies, but unfortunately not all of them we can just roll them out into the region, right? So that's an ongoing challenge that we have. Second piece is it became very crowded landscape. Like, everybody's tempted and excited to come and be part of the Middle East and the GCC and Saudi and Dubai for sure. So you can find a very crowded, competitive landscape. Scarcity of resources is another thing. Everybody's focusing on the same talent pool. And not only finding the right talent, but finding the right talent with the right culture fit and maintaining that talent became very, very challenging. And I would say fourth is, in a lot of cases, the misunderstanding of AI, where it can augment and where it can replace. Because we see this crazy videos all over social media, and the customers come in, I want that and I want that. But a lot of it is not like just operationalized yet, right? So I would say these are the key challenges that we face, yeah.
And if you were building a customer agent platform from scratch today, all of the resources, none of the limitations, like, what would you do differently?
Yeah, I love that one. I would say AI native from day one, that's for sure. Multi LLMs, I would say model agnostic, also channel agnostic, yet maintaining unified context across all the challenge. The other important things would be embedded trust and personalization controls that comes out of the box. And definitely localization.
Yeah. And obviously with GovTech regulation, like, what is the hidden compliance sort of tax that every SaaS founder underestimates, you think, in the GCC?
Well, I think there's two big parts here. I think for hyperscalers is a magic wand for tech people, right? because a lot of things are out of the box and you don't have to worry about scaling them or managing them on a daily basis. And they are very good when you're bootstrapping, right? So they remove a lot of the complications there. And then you get bumped that not all the servers are activated in our regions, and not all the hyperscalers are even available in the region. So that's a big challenge, and that they find later. That's one thing. And I think that's on the tech part of it. On the compliance piece is that most of the things need to be in country in a way, especially for so they have different level of different industry, like for each industry, and then it's classified on the openness for that. But a lot of other industries want to be on the safe side, where they want to make sure that you're already deployed locally or in-house. So that's another challenge, because you find that the world is moving towards the notion of the cloud. The cloud could help you a lot, and at a different occasion you're unable to leverage that power, right? So yeah.
And how do you keep shipping speed then when half of your clients are regulated banks or telcos? What would be your advice there?
Yeah, I think, look, you need to master the art of build versus buy versus part, right? Avoid the temptation to build everything, right? You would, for example, partner on the foundational models and the infra heavy type of tooling, right? There is no point to reinvent the wheel, and the train again is moving very fast, so you want to catch up with what is happening. I would say focus on the differentiation layers, like user experience layer, orchestration layer, and domain specific models, and build where customer data and business logic would give you an edge, because it would be seen for the customer and it would bring you closer to your customers.
Mm-hmm. So I want to move over to the role now of CPO, CTO in the region as well. So offline, you gave me 6 takeaways for executives. Do you remember them?
I do, yeah. So for the executive takeaway, I think with whatever Hype is doing, I would advise executives to build with purpose, not for the hype, because remember, businesses buy solution or tech-enabled solutions for their problems. They don't buy tech for the sake of buying tech. So that's one. Don't distract yourself on the AI front. Focus on AI that augment, not AI that replace, because that's an easier decision for businesses to make. If we're speaking about MENA, you have to invest in local ecosystem. And when we say investing in local ecosystem, aligning with local direction and visions, things like Saudi Vision 2030, you need to make sure that your roadmap and your plans align with that. Not only that, but you need to invest with the local players in the markets, the likes of the Amazon and the Shopifys that are challengers in the market, and invest in local talent. It's very clear that in the coming 3 to 5 years, there would be completely different, skill sets that you're looking for. So be part of that. Own the customer experience layer. Be closer to your customer. Prioritize impact. And last one would be being the platform, not just the products. You want to work with other products in the market. You want to enable other products, and you want to widen the scope of what you can deliver for the customers. Right? Live to the expectations. Like AI, raise the expectations. So you need to live to that expectation.
6 out of 6. Well done.
Okay.
So the CPTO playbook, there's been lots of talk about that in the last year or so now as well. Like when it comes to like priorities, then like what percentage of your week is a CTO versus a CPO?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, like it depends. So some weeks I'm more dragged as a lead for products, and other weeks I'm more into the tech and building. Like for example, if I have customer visits, I was kicking off our AI discovery at the beginning of this year. I had to do I did more than 25 workshops with different customers to come up with our early adopters. I did them I was there myself in all of them. So I was more of a product person that time. Same would be on the customer advisory week, where I would be more into the product side. But also whenever we're planning and we're releasing, I'm more wearing the tech hat. I'm very curious, so I love doing both. But this is where you want to make sure that is something that is when to engineer well, because it needs scale, and when you want to use things to get it out and ship as fast as possible, because it's still in the validation phase. So yeah, it's, I would say 50-50, but yeah, it's
And if we're thinking about tech debt versus new bets, then like what framework decides whether an AI feature makes sprint one or gets parked?
Yeah. Uh, Look, there is a way or an approach of thinking that is recently adopted by a lot of companies, and I love that one. You know, if you have an issue or a bug, it should be prioritized because that mess with the commitments that you've done for your users, right? And then prioritize the AI piece that are proven, right? Other than that, you have to focus on what you promised for your customers, and think it's just like the perspective. It's the AI is not just a technology; it's a perspective of how we reach things. So there is no point to develop a feature that you know that AI can overcome or can replace, and in that kind of asks or features, you would prioritize the AI over the normal features.
Build versus buy, like you integrate WhatsApp, voice, email, SMS. When do you choose to build infra in-house?
Yeah, we choose to build in-house if we consider it like a part of our core business. Like if it's part of the core business, for business continuity, we would want to own that. Anything that is not part of our core system, or because another thing that I would advise product and tech leaders to do is like use product partnerships. We put a lot of focus on product partnerships because you can use it for market validation as well. Why would you go and invest in something and build it if you're not sure if it would, you know, bring results or not? It's way easier to bring something faster time to market, less costly, to try it out. If it worked out, you can even have a deeper partnership, or you consider building yourself. Yeah.
And if we talk about metrics, like what would you say is the most underrated KPI that tells you that a message and product is truly sticky?
Usage, absolutely.
Advice for peers then, like what one habit that keeps product and engineering incentives aligned?
Sharing the same KPIs, and we have that. Like we have company-wide KPIs, and we want to make sure that they co-lead any goals. So we have a goal. Some sort of framework for managing goals, and we make sure that there is always a product leader and an engineering leader. We don't have any scenarios, and we often say that, where one of them would win or achieve and the other won't. So,
stuck Series A founders in the region, what is your biggest unlock you would give them if you were doing some mentorship calls?
It depends on stuck on revenues or stuck on scaling, or so it's different.
Let's go with both. Let's go with revenues and scaling.
Okay, so I think like on revenues, I would say trying. Okay, so first you would need to try different segments. You know, maybe you're trying to sell things in the wrong segment. You know, everything has a price, but you need to position it where it belongs, right? And sometimes it's also the region. You know, whatever you're building, maybe there is not the right demand for it in this region, but there's in another market or another region, which we've seen often, by the way, in some of the products. Our products are consumed differently in different regions. So that's one of the things. Also considering a pricing structure or a pricing strategy that would make sense to the consumer of your products and services. On scalability, I would say use whatever is ready. Don't invent the wheel. If you don't have high regulatory where you operate, absolutely use hyperscalers. This would incredibly, boost your time to market.
Perfect. So look, we're just finishing up now with quick fire round and then the crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
So quick fire round. Number one, favorite dev tool shipped in 2024?
Favorite dev tool? I would say all the AI enablement tools.
One book every product leader should read.
What got you here won't take you there.
Most underrated SaaS in the GCC?
Underrated SaaS. Tough one. I think most of the SaaS services in the Middle East has way more potential. I would say that most of them has way more potential, especially the ones on the e-commerce and the fintech scape. They have way more potential they can reach.
Interesting, because Facundo was talking about, is it the sort of end of e-commerce with the rise of AI and stuff like that? So interesting conflict there.
Doubtful, yeah.
KPI that you'd ban forever?
I would ban forever? I would say, KPI would ban forever. I would say utilization. I think we put a lot of effort to measure utilization, but at the end of the day, it's not that critical. Yeah.
Code review or design review? You can only choose one.
Code review, design review.
Design review.
Design review.
And then crystal ball then. Headline that you'd love to read about in the MENA tech ecosystem in 2030 that proves that you've nailed customer engagement.
I would say proven more than 70 or 80% automation for different verticals for agentic AI. I think there is a big alignment between customer engagement and what we're doing in agentic AI. I think it would take us to a whole new horizon.
Amazing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining
Thank you
Breaking
for
Down
having
Barriers.
me. Love it. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.